What is up, everybody? This is Nytmare, and welcome to Hang Time, where we talk NBA Top Shot, the market, fantasy basketball, and all things hoops and hype. Slight delay today to the Hang Time episode after a postponement yesterday because of a wet Memorial Day, but still people were out there celebrating, grilling, doing some different things. So decided to speak with everyone this afternoon so we could talk Top Shot and everything going on. And what a interesting week we've had. Slow a little bit on the front from NBA Top Shot, but interesting from the NBA, of course, with the playoffs going on. We have what looks to be a very competitive series or set of series going on in the West, while in the East Coast, obviously, it looks like every team is about to get washed, including my Celtics, which is tough to see, but Jayson Tatum did go off for 50 for the fourth time this season, so his emergence continues to be a cool thing to see. Although I was not a big fan of Kyrie Irving coming out and stomping on the Leprechaun. That being said, there were a lot of cool moments from this playoff run so far, and we are so early, but some awesome stuff to mint, especially here, like this LeBron spin. And LeBron put up so many highlights that are going to be awesome moments if they're in this playoff pack that they're planning to drop soon. But this one in particular, I really thought was dope.
And well, great left to right spin by James, and his sprint down the court was even better. A mouth, a gate. Impressed with it.
Some very cool moments. Even Embiid throwing up the highlights. Playoff Embiid coming through.
Free of Embiid, screen. Embiid now, the ball fake, another try, and
He's
that
not
one.
missing that one. Take him to the upper room.
Unfortunately, he banged up his knee, so hopefully, we see him in proper form going forward. But yeah, some awesome moments from the playoffs so far. And I have to say, I'm becoming more of a Trae Young fan with all the shushing of the crowd in the Garden and him just coming to play and really giving an amazing effort in his game. So I like that competitive fire. I like a little bit of that rivalry stuff. Even Kyrie stomping on the Leprechaun. Obviously, not my favorite move being the C's, but I like when the stakes are raised and the players take it personally and they're not going through the motions. So enjoying these playoffs so far. Unfortunately, we still have fans wilding out, doing stupid stuff, throwing water bottles at players, spitting at players, and it's honestly, it's not unlike what I'm hearing from friends that have started to go out here where I'm at locally now that a lot of the COVID restrictions have ended and people are maskless and different establishments can open up capacity. So we have these arenas now all of a sudden being able to open up to full capacity, being completely full, and people just don't know how to act. So hopefully they can get things in order. But as far as NBA Top Shot goes, I'm sure all of you guys have known we've returned to this continuous slide in the market as far as total dollar volume goes and most likely value of the cards that are in your account, or moments, should I say, rather. So we had this uptick that we talked about last time where the number of transactions went really high, slid right back down, and now the total dollar volume is down as well. We had a slight reemergence of that high transaction volume with some news about Cool Cats and that coming to an end and some additional stuff. But for the most part, we continue to see the value suppressed right now. So it's a good time to work on other things like fleshing out your portfolio and things of that nature. But let's not forget that this right here coincides with what is a holiday weekend in the United States. So that may have played a role there as well. Interestingly, if you take a look at the whale vault, it's probably the lowest valuation that we've seen some time, south of $35 million right now. Interestingly, that coincides with the value that we see over here on Evaluate Market. So there was this big disparity between the two, being that Moment Ranks took into account a lot of the special value drivers of cards, number ones, jersey numbers, things of that nature. And now that's kind of been that gap has been shortened. So I have to work on really what my thesis is for driving that, but Obviously, there's been some capitulation. People have, exited the market if they were only holding for a certain reason. Sometimes things are correlated with crypto at this point, I think. And so when people have to liquidate assets to try to just focus on Bitcoin or whatever, maybe they're doing that as well. But certainly, Series 1 values have dipped, and maybe that plays a role here, where a lot of Series 1's cards are in the whale vault, obviously. But that being said, this $35 million is after, I think, a $100,000 investment or something along those lines. So exponentially, in profit, and a great hold for the community. But interesting to see that this value has closed between the two. I would expect when we get another catalyst and go on another upswing that this one will widen that gap once again, because there'll be more value given to specific things, such as Series 1, which, by the way, I've been looking at opportunities to buy and see, hey, maybe this is my chance to get in on particular players, on particular cards I've had my eyes on, and things of that nature. That being said, if you take a look at the market, while I was looking, I was trying to see if there was a correlation between playoff performances and what the value of some of these players were. And for instance, I was looking at Jayson Tatum, who I'd mentioned was going off. And I think at the time when I started kind of eyeballing it, granted, things continue to be on that downward slide. So trying to project what I think is a bottom to try to grab some of this stuff. But even just a basic Series 1, for example, this three-pointer card was $120, $135 a couple of games ago. I say games, meaning prior to Tatum going off a couple of times, and then escalated to 200 or so. So it's interesting to see how the playoff performances affect it. That being said, if you're interested in particular players, there's some absolute value plays for you to get in. Conversely, there's some that have just stayed about the same. Bradley Beal is one that's a reasonable cost right now that I've been keeping an eye on, but he's kind of stayed where he's at. Jokic had a slight dip actually in his value when I had last taken a look at it, and some had absolutely none. The rookies have had some fluctuating deals. So if you guys want to eyeball some deals, I saw a Tyrese Halliburton 4-badge debut moment that was, I think it was $150. So that was a good deal that I didn't jump on at the moment, and I think it's popped back up. So here it is at $210 now. So like I said, you can get a De'Aaron Fox. There's a lot of stuff that you could take a look at and grab, whether it's rookies, whether it's Series 1. Certainly the market is ripe. It's whether or not you're comfortable taking that risk, because we could slide further, right? But hopefully many of you are collectors and in this for the long game. And so you're looking at, what you would enjoy having in your collection and what you think long-term might be a good pickup. So with that being said, hey, the market's sliding. Top Shot, what are you guys doing with regards to this? We're minting lots of moments. What's the next phase of the marketing push as the playoffs progress? They rolled out some interesting things as we started. A little bit of a lull over the past week. I think there was some stuff on Twitter and whatnot, but nothing that was earth-shattering. I would expect they have other things in the pipeline that we'll see soon, and part of that is likely the playoff packs that they had announced. So they're going to be making the playoff packs a replacement for the base reservation packs that they had been doing. So that reservation pack over the past 2 weeks had been just for new collectors or collectors that had only been able to reserve one pack. That's going to change, and we're going to have the opportunity to reserve these playoff packs. So likely there's a lot of them that will go into circulation. There's probably going to be a rare variant of it, but this process will be a little bit different and maybe an opportunity for them to pull in people that are watching the playoffs and not yet part of Top Shot into the Top Shot community. I did see somewhere that I think, and I could be mistaken here, but I believe someone had some metrics and said that with this new reservation pack that was only available to people that had one or less prior packs purchased, they only were able to account for 2,000 new collectors run into the ecosystem. So whether or not that's a positive or not, we'll see. At a first glance, I would think that they would get more from that, but again, I could be remembering something incorrectly. We should take a revisit to this once we get the firm metrics and see exactly what it did as far as in pulling in new collectors and letting people think that they have a foundation that they can start being more involved with. That being said, we've also gotten word that this week we should be seeing the legendary Holo Icon 3-pack, 99 LEs on those packs. They will also include some new metallic gold LE moments. The requirements are still unknown as to what exactly they will be, whether it's a snapshot, whether it's the collector's score, or a combination of the two. We don't know. We also don't know the price point for certain. Could it be $9.99 again? Not sure. I would certainly have to give pause and think whether or not that would be a value for me that I want to do versus grabbing some of those deals on Series 1 or some, rarer cards or moments rather that I've had my eyes on. So interesting times ahead for sure. But again, that's supposed to drop this week. I had this up so we could take a look at the LaMelo challenge, which had expired. But that being said, Cool Cats has finally been put to bed so we can all celebrate the longest running challenge in NBA Top Shot history, which is brief. But that being said, it seemed like it went on forever. So that got put to bed. They did announce here that there's some kind of additional surprise for people that had completed all the requirements and collected all of the Cool Cats. So there were 29 moments in total. This was announced, I think it was when I had last checked yesterday, it was about $1,600 to complete the Cool Cats challenge. So whether or not the LaMelo plus those Cool Cats when they hit the market afterwards would shake out even or even in a net profit, we will see. They also showed this afternoon, so I think the people at the First Mint were able to dig this up and see that Top Shot would actually be releasing this LaMelo in a pack that has to be ripped open. Now, whether or not that includes other moments, not certain, but they did mention that there's some kind of surprise. So to be determined whether or not that surprise is within this pack or there's something additionally coming. But a cool nuance to this particular challenge that people put a lot of effort in, had dedicated Discords and all kinds of stuff of that nature. So wanted to also, while we're talking about LaMelo, take a moment to talk about this. LaMelo had his team release a bunch of press releases a few days ago prior to the weekend talking about an NFT drop that would be dynamic. If he won Rookie of the Year, then it would be reflected on the NFT, etc. And it caused a little bit of confusion because there's always discussion with Top Shot whether Rookie of the Year would be a badge that would be added to moments and things of that nature. And so they afterwards went through and amended some of those press releases to divulge exactly who was putting this together. So it is a third party. It's not Top Shot doing it. It's by a company called Playground Studios. And they're actually going to use Chainlink oracles to connect with the information and a platform called EtherCards, which I'm not familiar with. But the drop will be 10,000 NFTs. There'll be 9,500 that are just standard NFTs with different rarity classes. And then there'll be 500 that will be these Evolve NFTs that have some randomization, I guess, to whether or not you get them. But it has, the ability to reflect different milestones from his career and things of that nature. So if he gets Rookie of the Year, if he sets, different records. One cool thing that some people in the community have mentioned that they're excited about, there was discussion of a mechanic with this where you could potentially trade in the card for in real life memorabilia, autograph stuff, basketball, sneakers, things of that nature, maybe even experiences. So that's pretty cool, a new usage for this type of thing. So the website had a countdown on it, I believe for 3 days or so. And the website for this particular drop is LameloBall.io. Let's see if the countdown is still up here. 2 days, 22 hours, 22 minutes. And at that point, we will have more details and whatnot. But just to put the confusion to bed, this is indeed LaMelo's own project with his own team, and we'll see how this comes to fruition. Personally, I'm not the biggest fan of sports collectible cards mimicking, the physical that don't have the league endorsement. So the uniforms are just kind of generic with colors. I feel like it devalues it personally. But if you are a real advocate of a player and a big fan, and who knows, maybe this is the one that actually does it right and really drives some collectability and some good value for the fans. So we will see what happens with that. And I think I had this tab open a little bit earlier. Paul Pierce dropped a note that he's looking to get into the NFT game. So interesting as these athletes continue to get exposure to it and want to be involved. That being said, Paul is actually taken to shilling some random, tokens on his Twitter also. Not quite as bad as Soulja Boy, but a little bit cringy. So we'll see what comes of this. I'll give Paul a pass. He just got off of ESPN, so he needs to find his way in the crypto world to try to make something happen, I guess. I did want to take a moment to just ask everybody in the community, have you been playing, daily fantasy sports with Moment Ranks? How has your experience been? I have not had the opportunity to get in there. So if you guys have, please let us know in the chat. We'd love to discuss it and see, how you guys have been experiencing the platform, what's the pros and the cons, whether you recommend other people participating, and what else you're looking for. Tigbo mentioned I'm the only one holding Paul Pierce coins. I did not buy it. Tigbo. Not yet, for sure. And the other thing is there was some discussion about what we're going to do after, the playoffs end. We don't have much to talk about. Obviously, the Swish League has been sunset, and now Moment Ranks and what they do is not going to be an option as well. We're going to continue to look for new opportunities for us to come together as sports fans and participate in some way. I think fantasy football is a no-brainer. That's an easy one. We will see if there's some kind of NFT asset that the NFL has out prior to their season that we could possibly use. We had been talking about this in the chat, and obviously, I don't know how you pronounce these guys, Veve. They've announced that, they have the license with the NFLPA, the NFL Players Association. So that being said, maybe they're going to do something. I did want to bring this up, and I'm not trying to say that there's something going on here, but I did find it a little suspect that the Raiders, in trying to hype their draft class, seem to use the NBA Top Shot assets and also call out NBA Top Shot. So, I mean, maybe you guys do. I don't see this kind of cross-league promotion often, but this is way too well done if this was just mimicking and not literally something that had already been in the works. But I could be overthinking it, right? But it would be pretty cool if the NFL had some kind of tie-in with Dapper and was working on, maybe this is just some concept stuff. Who knows? But let me look at that pack rip again, just because I can imagine my NFL squad, the Pats doing this. This would be dope. So we will see, guys, right? Sometimes where there's smoke, there's fire. Maybe there's not. But to me, this is uncanny, and especially the fact that they linked it. Maybe there's some discussions going on in the background. Maybe not to fully go on the platform, but maybe for some other stuff. Either way, I thought it was cool. So my current setup right now, normally I have a partner to do this with me where it's restreamed from, get my Mac Jones moment, thanks Hooper Dude, where things are restreamed by one of my peers in the mod group that didn't work. So I'm running back and forth between two computers and looking on my phone to try to chat. So sorry if I'm a little bit delayed in getting back to you guys. Let's see what else you guys want to chat about before we sign off. Radke mentioning there's lots of good buys. Radke, what are you scooping up? I know you're already out there. Tigbo said, ain't nobody want that. I assume you're talking about the LaMelo. Radke's advocating for LeBron coins. I actually think people would buy LeBron coins. Pacheco asked, what are people's thoughts on providing challenge rewards via packs? Will people now hold sealed packs? I'm trying to understand exactly what you mean, Pacheco. Do you mean that people earn a pack as a challenge reward, and then people will just keep it and not rip it? Not certain, but even just thinking through what that would do to the ecosystem, I'm not sure that they would want to do that. They'd have to be careful on what exactly they would include in the pack. Obviously, there's been a lot of talk about the dilution of supply and just really running the series mint numbers up exponentially. There are a lot of people still holding packs. I'm going to call you Kiki because I have no idea how I would pronounce that. But Kiki, yes, a lot of people are still holding packs. Radkey included, who was on stream. Tigbo included as well, who thought about hopping up on stream. Both are waiting for the right moment. Radkey says he's trying to scoop up some $1 and $2 moments. Radkey, how about some Series 1s that have dropped in value to, you know, a lower threshold here where you can kind of stock up? Who is winning the championship? Oh, tough. No one from the East. No one from the East, in my opinion. Yeah, the Lakers are cooked. The Nets, I'm big on chemistry, and I just don't see that holding together against a real challenge. That's just, it could be my bias against some of those players. I could be thinking too personally, but I think chemistry is the X factor when it comes to championship basketball. Radkey throwing a flex on us. I have tons of Series 1 already. Nice, Radkey. Nice. What's the cheapest Series 1 now? Springles, I would recommend you do this. You know, go to the market and think of a player that you know you dig and take a look at. You know, you're interested in picking up, and just the values are just, you know, come down to where I think it's pretty palatable. You know, here's a De'Aaron Fox. If you were interested, his debut here is $275. You know, even if you were just looking for some real baseline stuff, I mean, Steph and LeBron, I think, are always going to have that kind of premium tier. So if you're looking for something to get into a lower price tier, maybe there's a player local to you. Maybe you're interested in Jokic. Yeah, see, you could scoop a Series 1 for $110. There's plenty that are below in the $50, $60 range. If you get a mid-tier player, you're talking like in the teens. There's a lot of deals to be had for sure. I do have a spreadsheet of sorts, and now it's just turned into me crying that I didn't buy all these deals that keep popping up because I think it's going to go lower. It's much like crypto, right? I'm always waiting for the bottom, but sometimes don't catch it. Like I said, I would encourage you guys to kind of make a hit list, take a look. There's get the cool cats. Tigbo, what? Don't be leading people astray like that. Tigbo's trying to drop his cool cats on the market. All right, now you guys are just trolling everyone now. I'm gonna let this Raiders pack rip play and then get out of here, guys. We will check in next time, possibly with some hollow icon packs to rip. You guys have a good one.